Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. In this section we're going to be talking about control flow in Scala. So the basics of control flow with Scala are very similar to other programming languages such as Java or Python. We start out with an if statement, and inside there we evaluate an expression to an Boolean, and that triggers some code. If it evaluates to true, it'll trigger that code. If it evaluates to false, it'll move on to another if-else statement, which again follows the same structure to potentially another if-else statement, and then finally an else statement, which will be our end line for the control flow. So let me actually give a little bit of space here, and let's talk about just a basic statement that evaluates to true. So if true, and then again we have our curly brackets. We're going to have our print line. Whoops. And let's say this will print while evals to true. Okay. And today I'm also using the IntelliJ work environment so that we can actually just kind of play with a little bit more interactive features. So here we see whenever this runs, it's going to print out our statement it evaluates to true. Now we can also have another statement. Let's try another one here. And so we have if 4 is equivalent to 4, print 4 is equal to 4. And so again, if we run this, we can see here again that 4 is equivalent to 4. Okay, and so again, because this is evaluating to true, something will print out. Now we can also use values and variables in this in these statements as well. So if we have a greet is equal to welcome, and we want to see if greet dot ends with e, and so this will evaluate to true. We can see print line. We have greet ends. Well, let's change this up. The value of greet ends with e. And so we should be able to see here when this evaluates, it should evaluate for us. Again, because welcome itself starts with e, or it ends with e. So welcome, does it end with e? This evaluates to true, and then that will print out our statement of our choice. Now let's try an if-else statement. So let's see. If, oh, you know what? Let's keep this greet in there for now, so we have that value. You can also follow along. Again, I'm running this in the IntelliJ environment. If you feel more comfortable in the console, you can, or you can use whatever IDE that you're using as well. Another one I would recommend is Atom. So let's go back to the control flow with an if-else. So if greet ends with, and let's say that we want it to evaluate to false in this instance. So print, whoops, this will, the value of greet ends with O, and then here we'll have else, and then we would have our print line for the value of greet does not end with O. And so if we run this, we see that it should print up the value of greet does not end with O, because again, welcome, our string welcome, does not end in O, it ends with E. So if we go through our print statement, we're checking the end of the value of greet, which is welcome. It starts with E, or ends with E, and instead of O, so this will evaluate to false. So we skip the if section, go directly to the else statement, and then we print out the value of greet does not end with O. All right, let's try a little bit more. One more example, and let's make this with some actual values, so numerical values. So let's say if 4 is greater than 5, print line 4 is greater than 5, and then let's go to the else. Else 4 is not greater than 5. So again, we should see this evaluate to 4 is not greater than 5. Again, because 4 is, well, not greater than 5, this evaluates to false, so it drops down to the else statement and prints out our desired output there. Finally, let's do one more, and this is going to be an if, else. So val, let's say prof, your professor is Markham, and then we will say if prof is equivalent to, let's say, shoe, print welcome to data viz. Else if prof is equivalent to Markham, print welcome to data mining. And then finally, else print welcome to wait, what class is this anyways? Okay, so this should, now since we have our value is set to prof is equal to Markham, it should come out as welcome to data mining. We can change this to Professor Shu. Run this. And then it says welcome to data viz. And then we can also maybe redo this and just say Bob. And check. And this again will show us welcome to wait, this, what class is this anyways? Finally, let's do one more thing, and an important thing is that all of these evaluate based on some logical expression, okay? So here we're checking equivalence. Let me just take a minute to go through our logical operators. So let me clear this out here. Whoops, and do logical operators. So let me just do print line, and then so if we have here 1 is equal to 2 and 2 is equal to 2, okay, what should this evaluate to? Again, I'm going to leave these out here in just a sec for, whoops, that won't work. So, and we see here that this will print to false, okay, because if we have a false and a true, we'll come back as false. Now if we print again, and let's do another one, let's say that we want 1 is equal to 1 and 2 is equal to 2. This should print out true, okay, because true and true is going to give us true. And then so let's give another one, so let's use the or. Oh, okay, so these are using and in we use the ampersand, the double ampersand for that in Scala. If we're using the or, we're going to use the double pipe operator. And you know what, let me go in and make a note down here. And for the not operator, again, we're going to use the bang. So, all right, so 1 is equivalent to 2. We're going to keep the same example here, or 2 is equivalent to 2. This should evaluate to true, okay, because true or true is going to give us true, or well, false or true is going to give us true. And then we have 1 is equivalent to 1, or 2 is equivalent to 2. Oh, whoops. I have an extra 1 in there. There we go. And so this will give us true as well. And let me bring this up just a little bit higher. And so now we can try anything using the not operator. So 1 is equivalent to 1 will give us false. And then we have something like 1 is equal to 2. And again, because what this does, this actually negates what we are working on, and this will evaluate to true. Okay, that's it for this section. Next up, we're going to be working on for loops. I hope to see you there. Welcome back, everyone. In this section, we're going to be talking about for loops in Scala. Now, the basic structure of a for loop looks something very similar to this. We have the for starting, and then we have some item, and then it's going to sequence through some iterable item, okay, or iterable sequence, and then it will do something based on that criteria. So let's do a for item, and then we're going to have a list, and we're going to have A, B, C, and D. And then let's grab this and let's have it just print each item in the list. And so here we can see that it will print out each item in our list, and let's actually expand that out. Now we can also use this similarly with things such as range. So for num, and then we've seen range before, so let's do from 1 to 5. And then we're going to have it print line. We want it to print out the number. And here again, we will see that it prints out everything we have there. Now, another thing that we can do though is we can change this. And so let's say that we just want to repeat something multiple times. So we want to repeat this statement 5 times. And so we'll just have it say, whoops. Hello, students. And we'll have it print this out 5 times. And so again, you can see that it prints out over here. Now, another thing that we can do is we can also have this built in with control flow. And so this we talked about control flow in the last section. So let's do something like for a number in a range, and let's say we'd go from 0 to 10. Now, if the number is, let's say that we want it to look that it's even. Whoops. Let's have it print what? The number is even, and then else we'll have it print the number is odd. So 0 is even, 1 is odd, and then again it'll go all the way to 9 in this instance, because remember, whenever we're using range, it goes up to but does not include the number. Alright, so let's do one more example very quickly. Let's have value, and let's do fruits. And so we're going to have a list of fruits. Let's have kiwi, an orange, an apple, and a banana. Okay, and so again we can do for fruit in, fruit in fruits. Okay, so it can actually go through and iterate. So if the fruit starts with A, let's have it print the fruit starts with an A. Whoops, what was the error that we have here? So let's see here, the value, so here it's supposed to be starts with. Okay, let that rerun. And I have another error. Y starts with, Y is starts with, not working. Oh, see? Again, starts with, and again, my guess is that you guys probably saw my error. I have butterfingers, so it's not working for me. All right, and so, oops, and then we have one more error here. So notice here that this fruits did not compile correctly. It's because we did not use the S string to run this, and so now we should run it one more time, and we should see that apple starts with an A. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this section. The next section we're going to be talking about will be while loops. I'll see you there. Welcome back, everyone. In this section we're going to be talking about while loops in Scala. So let's just start off with a very simple example. Var of x is equal to 0. Now while x is less than 10, we're going to print x is currently, let's do x is currently, this value, and then print x is still less than 10, adding 1 to x. And so then we can do x equal to x plus 1, and we can run this. I don't like the way that that printed out. Let's do a new line, a new line, and then we'll go back here and we'll add another new line. Alright, now let's run it. And so now we can actually see this. Now x is currently 0, x is still less than 10, adding 1, and if we go all the way down, x is currently 9, x is still less than 10, adding 1 to x. And again, it will end at that point. Now, we can also use a break statement, okay, but it is not normally built directly into Scala. Okay, so we actually have to go in and let me add break. So we actually have to go in and import something. So we go import from the utils. We want control, and we want breaks, and then we're going to just import all there. So then now let's do var y is going to be equal to 0 while y is less than 10. We're going to do print s string y is currently y, and you know what? Let's make sure and do a new line here, and then and this is also print line. My Python is slipping through, and then we're going to do print line y is still less than 10, adding 1 to y. And again, I want to add a new line here. Okay, y is equal to y plus 1. And then inside here, we're going to say if y is equivalent to 3, we're going to have it break. Okay, and so then let's run this. And so this should, if everything goes correctly, it will go from 0, 1, then 2, and then once it equals 3, we're going to actually wind up having a break statement before we get to the next call in the flow. Okay, so this is how inside of a while loop you would use create a break statement. Now, one thing that you'll notice is you may wind up getting a depreciation error. We'll talk about this in other sections later on, so don't worry about it. And in the next section, we're going to be talking about Scala functions, and I hope to see you there. Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be a section on Scala functions. So to start off, let's do just a very simple function. Okay, now this one is going to just, let's have it as, let's just call it a, you know what, let's change this and actually name it what it is. It's an easy print. Okay, and so this will take a unit, and we're going to just basically do print ln, and we'll call this easy print. And then so we do a nice easy print call, and we see again this will just print out easy print. So this is basically very similar to a lot of the items that we have in other programming languages. We use the def statement, the name of the function, and then we have to call out the type, and then we have our do something in between here. Now in this next section, let's do something with inputs. So let's definition, and let's just call it add, and this will take a number 1. It's going to be an int. Then we're going to have a number 2. It's also going to be an int. And then we expect our output to be an integer as well. And so then let's return num1 plus num2, and then let's just give this a try. So add, and we have 1, 2, and this should give us 3. Alright, so again we see here that this resolves out to int is equal to 3. Let's try another example. Well, let's actually try this to add this to a val instead of just having it out. 3. We'll have this as an assignment statement, and then let's print line. Whoops, if I can spell correctly. 3. And so again, now we're actually going to see that this actually prints out to 3. All right. So what's the next one that we're going to do? Let's do a basic greet function. So greet name, it's going to take name. This is going to be a string. Our output, we want it to be a string. And so let's return s, and then we want our name. And let's do what? Hello name with a period. Okay, so we can do greet name, and let's do val full greeting, and then let's do name. I'm going to use my name for Markham, and then let's do print line full greeting. So again, we see that all of this works out very well, similarly to any other function that we've seen before. Let's also try maybe a little bit more complex function. So let's do definition, let's see if something is a prime. Okay, so the number, we want it to be an int. This one we want it to be a Boolean expression, whether something is prime or not. So here we're going to add in a for loop. So for in the range 2 to the number, we're going to have it if the number is divisible by n, or well, it is equal to 0. We want to return false. Then let's go down one more, and then we're going to return true otherwise. Now there are a couple different ways that you could do this this same explanation, but again, this is just one example. So print line, we do is prime, and let's do 10. And then we're going to print line again is prime, and then let's do 23, and this will give us true. Alright, so now we see here that our is prime function, we have a for loop. Inside of that we have an if statement. It'll return false if false and true if true, and again the output in this is Boolean, and our expected input will be an integer. I think we have maybe 2 more, so let's do something that involves using a collection or a list. So val, and let's do some numbers, and let's do a list is going to be 1, 2, 3, 9, and then let's do def, and then let's check, and so we're going to have some list of numbers. And this is going to be a list, but it's going to be a list of integers. And our expectation is that it's going to give out a list of integers. Oops. So, and all this is going to do is return our numbers. So print, check, and then num. Oops. Print line. So again, and we will see here what it's actually doing. It's going to create our function, and it's going to print out our same list that we gave to us. Again, all it is taking in a list, and it's going to be returning the same list to us. Now, and one more thing that we can do is we can do one-line functions, and we can do these very quickly. So let's take our greeting again that we used before, and let's do a definition, and we're just going to call it greet. And then let's do name, and this one is going to be a string, and we want this to equal an S string, so hello, and again we're going to do name, and so we can do print greet Markham, and then we will see here that we can do one-line functions as well. This is similar to the lambda functions in Python. Okay, thank you guys. This has been a very quick introduction to functions, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.